Hello and welcome to SMARTChess Channel, the Immortal Games series. Today we shall analyze another immortal game by Anderson. The game is actually called the Evergreen game and is probably the most celebrated and most analyzed of all chess games ever played. First, let us know the players. The player with the white pieces is Adolf Anderson, and the player with the black pieces is Jean Jefferson, or Ram Dufasna in German, a German chess player, chess composer and chess author, and also a student of Adolf Anderson himself. The game was played in Berlin, the birthplace of Dufasna, in 1852. That is 1 year after the famous immortal game by Anderson. So the game starts with, Anderson starts with e4, Dufasna e5, then f6, attacking the e5 pawn, and c6, defending the pawn, bishop to c4, attacking the weakest square, that is the f7 square, bishop to c5. Black is also counter-attacking the f2 square, the weakest square. So now we have what is called the Guico piano, or the Italian game opening. Now b4, sacrificing a pawn for better development, and this is called the Evans gambit. Bishop into b4. Now we have the Evans gambit accepted. Now c3, attacking the bishop. Bishop retreats to a5. Now d4, attacking the center. E into d5, and white castles. Now this knight cannot capture the pawn, because if knight captures, then black knight takes the knight, and now white pawn cannot capture the knight because of this pin. So that is why white castles. Then d3, and q into, and q into b3, attacking f7 with the bishop and queen battery, attacking the f7. Going back, if instead black took on c6, then also simply queen b3, attacking the f7, then queen to f6, defending, then bishop to g5, attacking, and queen to f6, queen to g6, then knight into c3, with a slight advantage for white. So that is why black played d3. So white played q into b3, attacking f7. Black plays q into f6, defending pawn to e5, attacking the queen. Queen moves to g6. Suppose if knight takes, then we have rook to e1, pinning the knight against the king, and after d6 we have bishop to g5 attacking the queen, queen to g6, and then simply attacking the knight, and pawn retakes. Then you have bishop into rook into e5 check, and if bishop to e6, we have queen into b7, and after queen to rook to d8, we have queen to c6 check, followed by bishop into d8 with decisive advantage. Going back, queen to g6 followed by rook to e1, knight g to e7, now bishop to a3. In the events gambit, bishop usually comes here attacking the e7 knight, and if the knight moves, attacking the f8 square, preventing black from castling. b5, attacking the bishop, queen takes pawn, rook to b8, attacking the queen, queen moves to safety at queen a4, then bishop moves away from queen's attack to b6, and also attacking the f2 square, knight b to b2, it's a developing move, bishop to b7, also a developing move, and x-raying the whole diagonal up to g2 and or even up to h4. Knight e4, queen f5, bishop into d3, setting a discovered attack to the knight. If knight can move to f6 with check, or to d6 with check, and then attacking the queen. So the queen should move away from this diagonal, so moved away from the diagonal. Knight to f6 check anyway, g into f6, but if this is forced because the knight is forking the king and the queen, so this is forced, and e into f6. Now the bishop, this pawn, and the rook are attacking the g7 knight, so white can win back piece at any time. Rook g8. Now the rook is attacking the g2 pawn. That means the pawn is pinned. I mean the pawn is pinned and the knight is no longer protected by the pawn. So the queen is threatening to take the knight and then threatening checkmate. Rook a to d8. Anderson ignores the threat and starts an ingenious combination. Queen into f3. Black cheerfully accepts the rook sacrifice and now threatening a checkmate in one. But it is Anderson's move now. Rook into e7 check. Knight takes at e7. Suppose instead the king moved to f8, and then we have a discovered check, and in the next move we can simply win the queen. Or if the king moved to d8, then rook into d7, and this time if king captures, then you have f7 check, and after king to bishop to f5 check, and if king moves to e8, bishop to d7 check, king to king to d8, then bishop into c6 discovered check, queen into d1, then queen into queen check, bishop to d4, queen into d4, king to c8, and queen to d7 checkmate. And now suppose instead of taking the rook, king moves to c8. Now because black is threatening checkmate in one, white should give check, otherwise there will be a checkmate here. So rook to d8 check. Now we have three possibilities. If the king can capture, the rook can capture, and this knight can capture. Suppose the rook captures or the knight queen captures, then you have bishop to e2 discovered check, knight to d4, bishop into f3, bishop into bishop, pawn to g3, bishop into d1, queen into d1, c6, c into d4, and wins. Going back, and if the rook takes, then bishop to f5 check, rook d7, bishop into d7 check, king to d8, bishop into c6 check, queen into d1, queen into d1 check, bishop to d4, queen to d4 check, queen to c8, and queen to d7, again mate. Going back, now if the knight captures, again we have bishop to f5 check, knight to e6, and queen to d7 is mate. So that is why knight took the rook at e7. Now we have queen into d7 check, and if the king moves here, then it is checkmate by queen at e7. So the king simply attacks. Now bishop to f5 double check, and the king can move to c6 or to e8. So if it moves to e8, then we have bishop to d7 check. If it moves to f8, then it is bishop into e7 mate, and if it moves to d8, then again bishop into e7 mate. And when bishop f5 check is delivered, if the king moves to c6, then we have bishop to d7 checkmate, and that's all. And all this time black was threatening checkmate and won. And that's all. Hope you enjoyed the game. Feel free to share your comments or feedback in the comments. And okay, remember, chess makes you smarter. Bye for now.